Now he's Mr. Verna to you, pal.
Mr. Verna to you, buddy. Oop. Let me turn that off there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start the community services.
Roll call to determine of a quorum, please.
Chair Manuel Martinez,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Tim Salazar,
Present.
Counselor Peggy Sue Martinez, Counselor Dorothy Valdez.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have an agenda in front of you. Can I have an approval for the agenda, please?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The nay, same response. Thank you. It moves on. All right, we have public comments. Do we have anybody on public comments on virtual land there? Or anybody signed up?
No.
No. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move forward to committee member comments. Councilor Martinez?
Sorry. The cards have, the red ribbon cards have almost been delivered in total. The only ones that are still pending are Velarde Elementary, Miss Didi and I need to put together, Dixon and Abbey Q. So I'm thinking, since it's so far out there for those ones, possibly Jeremy, you might be able to help me out, and I'll put them in a package for you and you can take them to one of your meetings and make sure that they get delivered to the counselor at that school. So I don't have to drive so far out to the other places. I've already delivered Chimayo and Sombrio on all this side, but we're still lacking the other side of those. And then there was a few left over, not very many, but if anybody wants an extra one or two, just let me know for somebody that's not in the Espanola School District. And then, you know, we've always done something with the union from the Los Alamos Pro Force Guard. They've always gotten involved with needy kids here in the Valley. So I've been in talks with them about the possibility of trying to do some kind of sponsorship for very needy kids and maybe get some stuff going with them on that. And they seem like they're very interested. So I'm sort of excited about that opportunity. And then anything else that we could possibly get together, I don't know. We haven't heard anything yet from public safety, but I'm sure they're going to do shop with a cop again and things like that. Or I'm hopeful that they're going to do something like that. And I'm hopeful also that this committee will jump on it and try and do something awesome for the community as far as for the holiday.
For the holiday?
Yes. And that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Counselor Didi Valdez.
Okay, so thank you, Chairman. Just to piggyback on Counselor Peggy Sue Martinez's comment about the needy children. What we've done in the past is you can contact, or I can contact the principals of each school, and they could give us names of students. And state police used to donate gifts, and the officers would go to the schools and actually deliver the gifts and take photos, and the kids were really excited and happy. And the principals could get sizes of clothing and, you know, maybe what they like as a toy, or just gather some information. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Councilor Valdez.
Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Tim.
Thank you, Chairman Martinez. I don't have anything at this time. I appreciate the opportunity, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and move on to Mr. Nathan Ortiz, who's here to talk during committee member comments. Mr. Nathan?
Can I pass one of these out to you guys?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, it was.
Good evening. I come before you guys today to ask if the city might be interested in co-sponsoring this first annual UTV toy drive that I'm planning on having. So with this toy drive, you see, we want it to be on December 18th. It's going to start at the Eagles and have a procession with lighted up bikes to go all the way through to Walmart and back around through town.
So it starts at the Eagles, you go through town, and then you process back to the Eagles at the end. A full circle. But they'll all be lit up.
I'll motion to approve to move it to full council, but I do have a concern. And the concern, I'm sure you've been in talks with Chief Jimenez. So my concern, well, you have a motion and then I'm going to.
Okay, I have a motion to move this to full council. Can we do that, sir? I know it's right now not as an action item.
I'm not too sure, sir, because it was not listed as an action item. I don't know if we can proceed with that. Maybe the CM can shed some light on that.
City manager.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. So the question was if you would like to move it to full council as an action item?
Yes, because right now it was listed as under committee member comments, not as a discussion or recommendation item to full council. Would we still be able to move it to full council, sir?
This would be a call by the committee. It's no different than when an action item has time-sensitive issues where you as the chair, Councilor Manny, will instruct the community services director to go ahead and proceed with an item to go to full council as the two contracts that went before the council last meeting. So I don't think this is any different if the council agrees to motion this to go to full council.
Okay, sir. Thank you for the clarification. We do have a motion to move to full council. Can I have a second?
I have a comment before we vote, please.
Go
I had
right
my
ahead.
hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Go right ahead.
No, okay, so I have a concern. I know that the lowriders are doing Toys for Tots also. And when we did the backpack giveaway, there was two different entities that gave away backpacks. And I think if the two entities would have joined forces, all we really needed was one affair. So I'm wondering if maybe the ATVs and the lowriders can get together instead of doubling the efforts. And I think that a lot of the students with the backpacks probably received two backpacks, one from each event. I'm just putting that out there for you guys to consider.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I still need a second so we can continue on this. Do we have a second to move to full council?
Second.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a vote on that. Let's go ahead and do a,
Under discussion.
oh, sorry, under discussion, go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. So like I asked before, Nathan, you've been in talks with the chief, so my concern deals with the fact that you're gonna be traveling on the state road, which makes it illegal for those vehicles to be on there. So I'm wondering how they're dealing with that. Like, how do you deal with allowing this to happen if those vehicles are illegal on that road?
So, as I talked to the chief, like, as he said, sort of just like any other, the March for Black Lives Matter, the March for, against drugs, the walk. We'll be escorted by the police. We'll be escorted. We'll have an escort in the front, escort in the back. Plus, we're going to reach out to the state police agencies and other agencies once we get approval from you guys. Chief Jimenez and I have talked about it, and we're going to reach out to surrounding agencies to give us a hand for this. And as for Counselor Valdez, Didi Valdez's question about uniting with the lowriders, I mean, that would be a great idea, but given the time that we have, it's kind of just, we're already set in motion on one thing, and there, we want to do this as our group to give back to the city.
I don't have an issue with any of this. In fact, I think it's a really great idea that you guys are so involved with the community and trying to do great community activities. And your citizenship is very much needed and very much welcome. So I think as long as there's no issue with the state, because it is a state road, and I'm not sure that us as a governing body have the authority
Allow
to
that.
allow for that, honest to God. So I feel like the most important thing is to go ahead and send it to full council if you have the vote. And then in the middle of that, before it gets to full council, have legal look over that and see what kind of an opinion he comes back. Because I, as a city councilor, for sure don't have the right to overstep my ground where state law is concerned. So that's my only concern, but I really applaud what you guys are doing here.
Mr. Chairman, just real quickly, so this is definitely a great initiative. I will say though, however, it is required because if it does go through the state highway, they would need to acquire a permit through the Department of Transportation. That was one of the things that came up with the lowrider for Lowrider Day when they wanted to have a procession. The city does not have the authority to give that type of permission for anything that would impede traffic on a state highway. So that may be something you want to look into as well. If the State Department of Transportation says otherwise, then that's what it is, but they will require a permit in order for the city to move forward with any type of procession. Anything that will impede or stop traffic on a state highway requires a permit from the DOT.
How about as a parade permit? Would that be considered the same thing, or?
Even then we require to go through them.
Yeah, anything that is going to impede traffic, or because the thing is, these are going to be off-road vehicles or however you want to classify them. If for whatever reason there's an issue where there could be a possible accident because you're not going to be stopping traffic, but if there's a car already on there, it turns into all this stuff. So I'm sure Mr. Ortiz will look into that, but just so that he's aware, the city does not have that authority to approve that without it getting prior approval from the Department of Transportation.
Thank you. Councilor Valdez, any further questions on this?
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Tim,
No, not at this time, sir. Thank you.
go right ahead, City Manager.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Mr. Ortiz, what was the designated date for this event?
The designated date for this event would be December 18th. It's close to Christmas. It'll give the officers, fire department time to be able to present these gifts to the children that they desire to.
The only concern that I have, and Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Mr. Ortiz, is the next council meeting that this item will be heard will be December 14th. Because we don't have a second council meeting in this month of November due to the Thanksgiving holiday.
That would be fine. We can get it together. We've got people that are coming together. We know this short time, it was kind of, but we didn't want to step on any other groups' toes, such as the lowriders and other people that want to do it. So we tried to look for a weekend that was free. Of course, we need to come and present to you guys first, and we hope you guys want this to be done. If this does get done, this flyer that I gave the committee here is just kind of a rough draft. We, if the city agrees to it, we're gonna make sure to add the city logo, fire department logo, Espanola Police Department logo, as well as New Mexico State Police. Another thing, we're just trying to go back sort of old school with this type of UTV run, back to like the Harley Davidson toy runs. We want to make it sort of like that. And what they do is they collect their toys and they give it to the National Guard and let them do it. I decided I wanted to keep it within our community for the people that need it within our community, to the schools all around, and to the children of our community. We want to make sure, and the reason I wanted the police and the firemen to give the gifts away instead of us was I wanted the children to be able to have that relationship with the police department,
Building trust.
to build that trust boundary with the police and the firemen. I mean, it's a little easier with the firemen, and with the police, it's a little bit harder, but I want them to start to build this at a young age so that they have trust in our police department. They know where they can go to if they need help. They're not afraid of police officers.
I think, should we move this forward to full council, ladies and gentlemen? My thought is that we, between now and the 14th, that it does go through legal to make sure, like your concerns, Counselor, that it is okay for us to allow them on the course of state roads, and also any permits that need to be taken care of by the 14th as well.
And something else as a follow-up, Chairman,
Go right ahead, ma'am.
if there's a need for this committee or for the council to meet specifically for this situation, for one vote, I don't have an issue with committing to now that if we need to come meet to do this vote, I'm okay with having a special meeting for that purpose. And it would have to be advertised like a regular meeting 72 hours in advance. But if it's necessary so that you guys are sure on the date, and you're sure that you're sponsored, and you're sure that the state has covered you, and you're sure the attorney is good to go, that way you have more time to get these out to the public instead of just those 4 days. I think it's very important to get this advertised. Of course, I know that you'll do it via Facebook, and I know that you guys have a very tight group, and I know what you guys are about. But I still feel like 4 days before the event coming back to us is very, very close timing. So I would have no issue with having a special meeting for just this issue. Yeah. It just because I think it would help them time wise.
And thank you very much, Councilor Martinez. That would be wonderful if that could happen, something like that. We would greatly appreciate it. And if that does happen and there's time for even myself or Mr. Maestas to go on coffee break and announce this, on coffee break, that would be, that would really help us out, because it's just to help the community. It's to help our police officers. That's what it's for. It should give back to the community.
Mr. Chairman, just real
Go right
quickly
ahead,
for clarification for mine and my staff's purposes. So with the motion to move it to full council, what is it that, aside from the police, was there anything else that you wanted from the city? Just the police assistance?
Yeah,
Police and fire?
police and fire department. Like I said, I've talked to both chiefs, Chief Padilla and Chief Jimenez, and they're on board with this. I think it's a great idea. I mean, and if that night, if they can, spare one fire truck and maybe one officer, 2 officers, he'd also said if this was to go through, that he would reach out to other entities to see if they could get assistance from other agencies, state police, the sheriff's department, and tribal police, everybody. We want to get the tribal police. We want to get everybody involved in this. Like I say, yes. So
We can request
okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna work on that. I'm also working with the Game and Fish Officer Desi Ortiz. I don't know if you guys remember when I brought up the UTV thing. So he's gonna work with me on this also, so that we can get it approved. we've been working very diligently with the Game and Fish to make sure that everything goes smoothly in our area. And so far, it's been going pretty good.
City Manager, should this pass here tonight, can you please send us quick through legal to see what their answers would be on something like this through state roads?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I will gladly follow up on this. I just, one question, I believe that this item should have gone through Public Safety Committee rather than Community Services if the request is primarily for PD and fire, but I know time is of the essence. But Mr. Ortiz, if you can provide Mr. Maestas a detailed description of what this whole event's going to take place and all that. I didn't really catch it. I think the volume kind of went in and out, but if you can provide myself and Mr. Maestas a detailed description of this event to be held on the 18th, we can definitely proceed on our end to see if we can expedite this.
City Manager, I'll be more than happy to email you guys something. I did give Mr. Maestas like I say, a rough draft flyer. Just so that you could, so I can let you know. We're gonna start at the Eagles as you come into Riverside Drive, wanting to go all the way across town through the Walmart or Lowe's parking lot and back to the Eagles. So just one big circle through Riverside Drive.
And just for City Manager Martinez's information, when I was contacted by Mr. Ortiz, we had just had the public safety meeting because we had it on the 1st.
Yeah.
It hit on the very first day of the month. So it really didn't leave us an opportunity to listen to that at that committee level. So that's the reason it landed up coming to community. But I think we'll still be able to handle it fine. And the fact that you've been in touch with the chief and the chief is even that much better. Like, they're not out of the loop. They've been involved in the whole thing since the very beginning. So I think this is something very doable. Okay. Thank you.
And one more comment, I hate to bring it to you guys and put the pressure on the committee with the short notice, but I was wanting to make sure on all the COVID stuff, make sure that everything was COVID safe and we're gonna be allowed to do this. We were still kind of, like everything else, on the fence to see, we don't want to get no one sick or anything like that. So we want to make sure to do it correctly.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, councilors, we have a motion on the floor and a second to move this to full council. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, the same sign? Okay, this will move to full council. Once, Mr. Ortiz, once you get your homework done on what you need to do with the state and with Mr. Martinez, also with our attorney, then we can see about maybe having a special meeting. I can contact the city clerk's office and see if we can get that put into place. So just let me know once that happens, or let Jeremy know.
Okay, I'll get on that first.
Give him one of my cards so that if you don't mind sending me an email and whatever we can do to help.
That'll work.
Well, thank you guys for your time. We really appreciate it. We hope this goes through. We have, just for the future reference, we have many more ideas that we're planning for the community. This group is a lot of really nice guys, women and guys, and they really want to improve the area. And we've got a lot more plans coming for the summertime and stuff. So hopefully this will work out for us.
Great, thank you.
Thank you guys.
I'll welcome Mr. Ortiz and his group back in community services any day. We want you to engage. We want you guys to do exactly what you're doing. That's what makes Espanola great. So just keep bringing it. I want you to do that, please.
You got it. That's a promise. We'll keep it going. And
Appreciate you.
us as a group, if we can offer back assistance, we will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Ortiz.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Thank you for always wanting to help not only the community, but especially the children. They are our future. Thank you again.
Okay, we have minutes from October 18, 2021. We need approval of minutes.
Move to approve, sir.
Do I have a second? I have a Motion and a second for approval of minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone against, the same sign? Minutes are approved. We'll move on to, we have nothing under discussion on, well, recommendation items to full council, so we'll move on to department reports. Community Services Department overview, Mr. Jeremy Maestas, Director, Community Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'll bear with me just 1 second here so that I can pull up my report. Okay, so just a little bit of an overview of what's been going on in the Community Services Department as a whole. We did have a meeting with the Veterans Memorial Wall President, Mr. Chris Archuleta, and we had some discussions with him on the Veterans Day event. I'm happy to report to this governing body that the Veterans Day event went extremely well. It was a beautiful day. The weather was absolutely cooperative. We had a good amount of people in attendance and a lot of other elected officials. I think Councilor Manny was there. We had Ben Ray Lujan. So it was a very, very beautiful ceremony, and Mr. Archuleta did a phenomenal job on putting that together for the people in the community. And so I just wanted to report on that.
And if I may say, I don't know if he requested the perfect weather because it was warm, it was beautiful, but yet there was just enough wind for that big flag to move
Right.
and
It was
stay
awesome.
moving. That's what it was like, just perfect.
Yes, yes, it was. Myself and City Manager Martinez have been in a couple of meetings so far, only about two, maybe 2 or 3 since I got here, for discussions in regards to the proposed Rio Arriba County recreational facility that they're looking at building. And we'll discuss that a little further on, Mr. Chairman, on some of the discussions that have taken place with that and my thoughts on that. We finally had a meeting with the members of the Plaza Foundation on November 8th, 2021. They all got together and elected new officers, and that organization seems to be now starting back up again, which is really exciting. And I'm sure that they'll be working on bringing forth some ideas and possibly other areas that are needing addressing at the Plaza grounds. So I'm happy that they continued that on. We've continued with facility rentals and collaborations with different organizations. Right now, thanks to the governing body, we were able to provide a space for the Compassion Through Action. We'll be meeting this Saturday at the Mission to prepare hygiene kits starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe is the time. So if anybody on the listening public would like to join them, I'm sure they would be most appreciative of the help in preparing those hygiene kits for the needy in the community who require those. We had the Arts Festival reception. Mr. Chairman was part of that, and it seemed like it went really, really well. And I'm glad to hear that. So we had that at the Mission. We also had an event on Saturday for the BLM Taos Field office. They had a meeting out on the Plaza area. And then I also want to share that I'm really happy that we were able to provide the Plaza and the gazebo, thanks to Councilor Peggy Sue Martinez, for the Native American Heritage Month. Today we had 2 Native American dancing groups who came and did some dances there in the gazebo at the Plaza. It was a very small crowd, but a lot of students from Northern participated, and it was really nice to see that great energy at the Plaza during the week, during the day. And so we had that there today, and it actually went really, really well. We were really happy to host them there, and we're happy that the city was able to play a part in that. I've been meeting and collaborating with the new project race manager, Ms. Cynthia Lenteni. So we've been working on some stuff there, hoping to build or continue the partnership between community services and the project race program. I've had some meetings with the Tewa Women United. The person who's leading that has come to my office, and we've met in regards to the healing garden and the plans of what's going to be happening with that moving forward, and the city eventually taking that over to assist with the maintenance of that beautiful facility. My staff and myself have worked really hard to get our SOPs for the Community Services Department completed and submitted to the city clerk. The SOPs are the standard operating procedures for each department that falls under community services. I just want to give kudos to my department heads who did a phenomenal job in ensuring that they put together what those standard operating procedures were for each one of their respective departments, as well as my department as the division, I guess, division head of that. So I'm happy to say that we completed all of those and they've been submitted in a nice binder over to the city clerk, at which point it will be a live document. So we'll continue to update it as necessary.
I'll hold, go ahead.
We're continuing to work on the Valdez Park improvements. It's been a really slow process, unfortunately, due to COVID, with situations that, the contractors aren't getting back to us or whatever the case may be, but we are working on that. We're continuing to try to push that forward. Currently, we're reviewing the current city leases that we have in place, just to advise the committee. Some of those leases are coming up for expiring, so those will be coming forward to the committee at some point soon. So that would be the San Gabriel Historical Society that will be coming up to the committee for review because their lease will be expiring now in December. So I'm hoping that we can get Miss Lynette Rendon over to the committee meeting in December so that she can give her overview to the committee as far as what the San Gabriel Historical Society has been working on. The other one that we need to get updated as soon as we can. City manager and myself have met with Mr. Val Alonso, who is the executive director for the Regional Development Corporation, who is actually housed in the bond house right now. Their lease has already expired, so we need to get that hopefully by the December meeting. So that will be another one that's coming to this body for approval before it goes to full council. Continued with monthly meetings with the community service department supervisors and staff. We've tried to keep up with that as much as possible. And then just a couple of other announcements that I want to give the committee. This evening, as I was leaving, I'm happy to say that thanks to our general services department, the plaza is as well lit up as we can get it with the lights that we have out there. They have fixed all of the parking light structures that we have there. All the lights are on and they're working. The Mission inside of it, the Convento area, all that general area where the fountain is lit up. Everything is as lit up as we can possibly get it. The Parks Department is actually working right now on getting the plaza decorated. As I'm sure you've seen some of the Christmas lights. We're starting on that to get it prepared in order for the Christmas events. And we're also going to have a meeting this week on Wednesday with Miss Tini Bustos and the police department, fire department, general services, all the departments that are involved in the electric light parade, because I want to ensure that we have all the details ironed out as to who's going to be doing what, so that we are all on the same page for the day of the electric light parade on December 11th. So we will be meeting on Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? Wednesday at the or Thursday, excuse me. Thursday, the 18th at the Mission at 3:00 to ensure that all of us have that line of communication with the details ironed out so that we're prepared for the event on the 11th. And I stand for any questions if you have.
Okay, Councilor Martinez, you have any questions or comments for Mr. Maestas?
No, Jeremy, Mr. Mesa, just thank you very much. I realized by your report that you're a busy guy. I'm sure that things are very active every day and you're turning out fires all the time also. I do have a comment concerning farolitos in the plaza. Like, I really feel like we as a city could light that whole area up ridiculously, either one night, maybe the night before Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve itself. One of the things that Mayor Alice Lucero always did that I thought was really beautiful and is part of our culture is that they always did the Christmas reenactment at the
Posadas.
the posadas, and I feel like that is sort of religious, so it sort of doesn't go with the governing bodies still, but I still feel like if there are still people interested in doing that, that we should look at the possibility of renting it out and still keeping that part of our cultural life, because I think it's really important. So that, and then the possibility of possibly doing farolitos in the plaza. And just on the plaza, not get crazy with all over town or whatever. It's a lot of work. But just doing them like one night in the plaza, really, really, really nice. And I think it would be fun for people that are gathering with their immediate families, going to mass and going to church, drive by that whole area and visualize that. And it brings some people into the area on this side of town, and something we should probably think about. And maybe Jeremy, you can look into that and see what kind of cost it would be and how much manpower we would need and what kind of volunteerism we could get for that. Because I would be interested in helping you with that. Okay.
Definitely, Counselor, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was telling the parks guys, they laughed at me, but I told them that this year we're going to give competition to Santa Fe's downtown and decorate the plaza as best as we can and make it look great. So I'm all for that, and I will.
Awesome. That's so awesome. Thanks.
Counselor Valdez, any questions or concerns or comments?
Just a comment on what both Counselor Martinez and Director Maestas are saying about decorating the plaza. When Counselor Martinez was saying about the farolitos, another cultural aspect are the luminarias, which are the piling of wood and making a fire. So maybe we could include that in the farolitos. I remember growing up and my grandpa would make luminarias out in the yard, and the whole family would just gather there and then go in and of course eat the regular traditional foods, tamales and pozole. So maybe we could include that in the decorations, and I too would be willing to help with whatever I can, manpower. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor Pro Tem,
Nothing further at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
thank you. Counselor Martinez.
Thank you. This question is for Councilor Valdez. Councilor Valdez, do you think there's an opportunity to utilize the kids to possibly fold some of the farolito bags at school and have it part of like a civic project?
That would be a great idea. We do have the 21st Century After School program, and we're always trying to do special projects, extracurricular activities. So I think the folding of the bags would be an awesome activity for the students to learn. And we even have that book, Farolitos by Rodolfo Anaya. Maybe at my school, I would probably read that story just so they'll know what the significance of the farolitos are. But yes, that's a great idea, Counselor.
There's also another storybook called One Farolito for Antonio that is really an incredible little story. And I don't know if any of you have ever read that story, but it's really cool. So I would highly recommend that reading for anybody that has children. It's an incredible little story, and it's very cultural and very tied to our community.
One more story. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Too Many Tamales. And the students really love that story. It's comical, and I think the students really relate to that story. Too Many Tamales.
Awesome.
Mr. Chairman, just one final comment. I'm really happy to hear that Councilor Didi Valdez referred to the luminarias as the stack of wood with the fire, and the farolitos as the little bag with the dirt and the candle in it.
Yes.
Because so many people confuse that on different parts of the state, and they always want to argue that a farolito is a luminaria, and it's not.
No, I feel the same exact way, that it sort of they've gotten meshed and Americanized. Even if you buy the luminarias and in the box, those are not luminarias, those are faroles.
Farolitos,
Yeah.
I have a question there for you, sir. On the Plaza Foundation, is that strictly the plaza area that they meet and talk about on how to improve, or is this all downtown area?
So my understanding, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, so what I'm getting caught up to speed on the Plaza Foundation is this was an organization that was created by former Mayor Richard Lucero when they decided to erect the Mission in the Plaza grounds. But to answer your question, sir, I believe it's just focused on the Plaza grounds and the Misión y Convento, but not necessarily all of downtown.
Oh, because the Downtown Action Committee is the ones that did all of downtown. The Plaza Foundation really just focused.
On your current city leases or expiring contracts, where are we on the Regional Arts Center? As far as the contract is concerned.
If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Chair, after I reviewed it, I believe Gabriela may still have another year or two. Hers is still good. It still has some time before it comes back up for renewal. And so the only ones that are going to be up right now, as I mentioned, were going to be the ones for the Regional Development Center and the ones for the San Gabriel Historical Society.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the Beatrice Martinez Senior Center report with Dora Terrazas.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. As you can see from my report, our revenue continues to go up. Yahoo, that's good. Yay, yay, yay. Our rentals from last year, of course, because of the COVID, no, but those two are going up and I'm getting some for next year as well already. So if you have any graduates, you better put in your request right away. We do have a hold on the Zumba that we used to have every evening from Maria, and because of the COVID. We continue to rent the stroke center offices, which we pretty soon this month will have Dream Tree renting those offices. Right now we have on Wednesdays and Thursdays, the United Healthcare representatives helping out the community with any questions they have for their insurances. Of course, they're with United Health, but they are there to answer any questions of any other insurances that you currently have or that you may have questions for. So if you know of anybody needing insurance, send them on back to the stroke center. They are there usually by 9, if not 10 o'clock, and gone by about 2 o'clock. So let the community know they're there for them. The senior committee is doing pretty good. They have done a couple of cakewalks. We are planning a dance with the meal now Wednesday, now for Thanksgiving. Hopefully we get a little bit on that. Thursday is going to be our big day. The 18th, we are having our Thanksgiving meal. We are taking volunteers. So if you guys aren't busy that day, come on by and help us out. It is our big day for the full year. So hopefully this year we can top, if not more than last year's revenue, which was a little over 700. So we want to go a little over that on that day for that revenue.
What's the time on that you serve?
11 o'clock, we start serving. So it's a very busy day for us. Okay. You can always come on Wednesday to help us out, prepare and everything if you can't help us out on Thursday. And that's anybody that can come and volunteer, boss. Send them on over. Of course, he's always helping out. We did get our second round of beans and rice from Mr. Kalsa. And thanks to him, we are feeding the northern part of the state. We had the last time the Chimayo group that took quite a bit, they took about 56 bags. And then we have the county that actually got the El Rito, Vallecitos, Alcalde, little bit of Abiquiu, I think they got there as well too. They took over 100 bags. So they distribute them with the meals that they give to the seniors and whatever other families they felt, needed that as well. So I'm gonna get the group together again which is the high school, the Espanola Public Schools with Jeanette Lujan, is gathering up some groups to come and help us bag those beans and that rice maybe Sunday, so we can get that second distribution going as well. We did get an approval for the money for the grant that we were waiting on to get our equipment on the kitchen upgraded. So we are working on that. Hopefully we can get that money soon. We do need the upgrades for definitely our warmers and our fryer there and another freezer. So hopefully we'll dance with the new equipment soon. I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, our menu's on there always on our website, so come and enjoy a nice meal. Anybody is welcome. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions, Councilor Martinez?
Thank you, Chairman Martinez. Thank you, Dora, for your presentation, and thank you and your staff for what you're doing. I recently had an opportunity to go have a Tewa taco last week, and I have to tell you that when I left the house, I told my husband, you want a Tewa taco? You want a plate? He said, no, don't bring me anything. But then I said, I better take it because he might not be hungry now, but in another hour or two, he's probably going to be hungry. So then he said, what did you bring? And I said, Tewa tacos. And he's all, how do you eat that? And I said, it's not Dick. I said, you just warm this up and then you just go dunk, dump it on there, and it's just perfect. So we had our neighbor over and him and I both ate, and I'm telling you, it's one of the best meals I get here in Espanola. So I just saw it where it's going to be again on the 23rd. So I put it in my calendar, and I just have to tell you that you guys are doing a spectacular job over there. I had an opportunity to share time with some of the seniors and walk around table to table, and it's mostly the regular people that go and sit in their same area in the same chairs they sit every day. But man, they're certainly happy to get fed well, and they're certainly happy to be there. And it's awesome to see that again after COVID and not having that interaction and that sociability. I just think that's very, very nice that they're able to sit there and eat again and enjoy each other. So thank you guys again for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Councilor Valdez?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to clarify with Dora, is it going to be the same price as usual? And if it is or is not, please tell the public what the price of the special Thanksgiving meal is. Thank you.
So our prices stay the same. We can't charge any different unless it passes through council. So it's for seniors 55 and above are $3. If you want it to go, of course, it'll be $3.50. Non-seniors, like I say, the community is always welcome. They are $6.50. Children under 12 are $2.
Thank you, Ms. Terrazas.
You're welcome. We sure can.
Councilor Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Tim?
Thank you, Chairman Martinez. Just a couple of things, actually. I'm really happy to see that the senior center is moving forward with much needed upgrades. So that's really awesome to hear. And of course, with this equipment to continue to get their job done, and of course, serving our seniors. Another thing that I'm really happy about that Dora mentioned is in regards to the food. I think the beans and rice, and of course, within the city, the necessity to help our seniors with their needs, especially for food now as it's getting colder and Thanksgiving and Christmas is upon us. And then of course, the collaboration, and I know talking back and forth with Rio Arriba County Senior Program. I got to have a small discussion with the senior program director from Rio Arriba County a couple weeks ago, Matilda. So it was a really good conversation, but I'm just real happy to see, the constant communication and collaboration, and of course with the seniors in mind to ensure that they're taken care of in any way which we possibly can as a city, and which we are able to do. Also, on another note, in reference to Dora mentioning, I'm really glad to see that there's a dance upcoming, and I know all departments, but specifically looking at community services because, of course, through the Lucero Center, the library, recreation, of course, senior center, through COVID, the last year and a half, it's been very, very challenging. And, and it ranges all the way from our youth to our senior citizens. So now that activities are coming back slowly but surely, I think it's a great thing. I think that's something that our seniors definitely love is, dances and bingo. Those are two huge things. So I'm really, really happy to see that. And I wanted to say that I'm ecstatic about it. And I know it will continue as long as we're able to manage COVID best we can. It looks like it's here to stay. So it's just a way of us being able to manage it. And of course, doing what we can as individuals and of course as a city as well. So again, I just want to relay my thanks for that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And yes, the senior committee has been working towards fundraising so that they can actually bring in light music for their dances, hopefully in the near future.
I can't top everything what you guys have all said. You guys are doing a fantastic job and just keep doing what you're doing. Great job. I hear nothing but great things from the food. I've snuck in a few plates myself when I get the chance.
That's good.
Can't beat the price. Of course, I'm not quite at that senior level yet. Yeah, right. I know, I'm just joking.
Manny?
Yes, yeah. We have we have
Yeah,
just the
you're thinking
closure on the
Christmas.
25th and 26th.
Yeah, you can still get.
It's just Monday and
That's all.
yeah, we have, no, that's the end of the November month.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Okay, next up is Ms. Sherry Aragon with the Espanola Public Library.
Good evening, Chairman and counselors. This evening, I'd like to talk about the trick or treat event that we had. We had approximately 260 participants that came through. We know that because that's how many bags Del Norte Credit Union gave us to pass out for, since they couldn't be there. So that's how many they donated to us. Thank you to Community Services Department, Recreation, Senior Center, Library, Project Grace, NIMRAC, City Espanola Fire Department, Clerks Department, and PMI for participating in this year's event. It went really well. I thought we gave a lot of different, things away. We gave away a lot of crafts for the kids rather than a lot of candy, but everything turned out really well. Back in October, I also attended the Association for Rural and Small Libraries Conference, and some of the different things that the classes that I went to or attended were library ethics, staying curious, harnessing inquiry to affect positive change, facilitating community well-being, asset-based partnerships for small and rural libraries, cataloging the community, and as you can see, just a bunch of other different classes that I attended at that time. And it was really very eye-opening and very educational for a lot of things, and I'm kind of implementing a lot of these things that I learned with my staff right now. So that way we can, just keep moving on and doing better with the community and as a library in whole. Amazon has used the mayor's conference room so far twice in October, and they've done a hiring event. In November, we're going to be helping with the mayor's tree. I think Jeremy was working on that. On the 15th, 17th, 19th, and 22nd of this month, we're going to be doing Christmas ornaments, having the kids come into the library. We wanted to reach out to the schools, but we haven't heard any information back from any of the schools. So I just put it out as to the general public for having a lot of, bring their kids in and they can decorate an ornament, and those ornaments will stay at the library and they'll go onto the tree at the plaza when they're ready to decorate. So this week we're doing that, and it's from 2:30 to 4, and any of the kids can come in. Again, in November, we have different activities also. I think today they had a senior movie afternoon, The War with Grandpa, which we had probably about 6 people in there today. And they had lots of fun with that. Our statistics for October, not very much higher than last year's, 963 total circulations that we did. Computer usage, actually, that went up to 190. Tours and programs, 36, and that's how many different projects that we had for the month. Library program attendance, and that's how many people that actually came in to participate in some of those in-person events, or even just pick up grabbing gold craft bags. We also have the quilters that come in every Tuesday and they meet in the library. Again, security gate count, 1,000 people that have come through the doors. Our Wi-Fi users actually moved up to 82, and that's how many people that come in and utilize the Wi-Fi in the library, so they can, do homework or do. A lot of students have been coming in, so they've been utilizing that Wi-Fi. Our revenue for October is $233.15, a little bit lower than last year's, but we're still bringing in a lot of, people to come in. And I know a lot of people have gotten Wi-Fi at home, and they've gotten some computers, so they really don't need a lot of our computers right now, but we're still having other people come in, and mostly, like I said, mostly the kids that are coming in right now, students, to use the computers. And I think that's about it. Any questions?
Counselor Martinez?
Thank you, Sherry, again for the presentation. I've noticed the advertisements for the movies on the marquee.
Uh-huh.
I think that's very important, and I think some of what you're doing, the public is not really aware of. So I wish that the city had an advertisement maybe in the paper.
Yeah, we used to send them to Northern Briefs and the paper. They haven't printed
Haven't had
anything.
those, huh?
No, they haven't, not since last
So
year.
maybe, even if it's just a small little ad, $60 once a month, happening at the library for November or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the budget is for that, or if we have a budget for that, but I think you're doing so many interesting things that sometimes, like, I have to call my constituents or call people I know that have kids and say, you know what, there's been a deal of Halloween candy at the Theater Center. And
Yes.
really, I say, yeah. So I really feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect between the awesome things that you're doing and the public really knowing a lot about it. So let's try and look at that, Jeremy, if you can, see if there's any budget at all for advertising library happenings or whatever for the
Yes.
month of November. And
Yeah.
that way everybody has that schedule, it has kids, story hour. Oh man, they have story hour at this time. Whatever it is you guys are doing, because I know you guys are busy. I know you guys have a lot going on, but I don't think that you're getting the numbers that we should be getting.
Exactly. Yeah, and we have a Facebook page, and we always try to post everything on there, as well as to our personal Facebook pages and stuff. And then we also try to put a lot of our flyers, the information that we give out. Anybody that's checking out books, DVDs, or anything, we put it in the book.
Oh, nice.
And then that way they can take it with them. And it seems like that has been helping, because we've got a lot of inquiries because of that. So
I
it's,
think that is a really great idea that you're doing that, but I also still think that if the person doesn't go into the library and they're not like in that loop, like you sort of
Right.
lose track of what's going on there. So maybe putting something together of December happenings for the Espanola Public Library or this.
yes. And I have Lucy, who is my cataloger, and she usually posts a lot of stuff on the city webpage. So a lot of people do see some of those, it's on there too.
Everything else great job. I'm glad that the numbers seem to be climbing slowly,
Yes.
slowly. It seems like people are getting more and more back to the normal numbers of before.
Correct.
It'll take us a while to get there.
Yes, definitely.
And I'm also glad that Amazon has been utilizing city facilities, that they're really interested in doing business here. Yeah. It's very exciting for opportunities for people that want to work. Hopefully
Yeah,
they're
I'm just
getting-
waiting for Jeff Bezos to make a donation to the library now.
Amen. Sure, I feel that. Awesome. Good job, Sherry.
Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Counselor Valdez?
I'm sorry, I don't have anything at this time, just to say thank you for all you do at the library.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Tim.
Thank you, sir. I just have one comment. About 2 or 3 weeks back, I got a phone call from on my home phone, a message actually from my uncle. And he left a message just saying, I need to talk to you about the library. Please call me when you can. It sounded very serious. And so I that evening I called him and I called him back. And when we talked, he had nothing but praise for the library. I guess he took his grandson in regarding an assignment that he had to do. I guess some research and I think some internet usage as well. So he just went on and on about how professional the staff is, as far as information that they needed, that they were able to find it, that they got the help. And in turn, his grandson got an A on his assignment, whatever his assignment was. So I just thought I would share that information and pass it on. And I was really happy to hear it because I was kind of wondering, he sounded very serious on the message, but kind of that's the way he talks anyway. So I should have snapped to that. But again, I was just really happy to hear that. And thank you to Sherry for your leadership and as well for your library staff. There's always positive comments that I hear in regards to the library. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Sherry. Fantastic job as always.
You're welcome. Thank
And
you.
congratulations for going on that conference as well.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have the Recreational Department report with Maria Sandova.
Mr. Chairman, I will be giving the report for Miss Maria. She was not able to be with us this evening. And then also before we conclude the meeting, sir, I just wanted to bring to your attention that I believe we skipped over the discussion regarding the recreational facility that was under the matters from the chair. So if we could go back to that after the report, if that's okay with you, sir.
That's fine, sir. We can go ahead and do that right now.
Thank you, sir. So the report is as follows for the Recreation Department. She had a revenue for this month, which was at $5,017.75. Revenue for last year's month of September was $1,132.25, so it's gone up substantially. This week's or this month's patron count, she had 30 at the pool, which was at Ranchitos. She had 376 in the basketball gym, 222 in the weight room. We didn't have any for the boxing area. 45 showers. We had 3 groups and 8 rentals for a total patron count of 690 individuals. Her report for aquatics is the staff is wetting the walls of the Lucero Center pool twice a week, adding chemicals to Ranchitos during the winter season. And also they are assisting with the volleyball league and the running of the Lucero Center. Recreational activities currently going on or that have gone on through the Recreation Department. They had a co-ed league that ended on a great note, as did the men's Halloween Howl tournament up at the Sportsplex. On November 6th, the city hosted the 5th annual co-ed softball Thanksgiving tournament. Each of those teams brought in 2 food baskets to give to those in need during Thanksgiving. So I'm very grateful to the Recreation Department that assisted in getting that done. That's something that they obviously have been doing the last 5 years. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Maria said they gave something like 30 baskets away of food with Thanksgiving meals for those in need in the community. They've started with the co-ed volleyball tournament. They had one on Saturday, November 27th, starting at 8 a.m. at Lucero Center. They had the election, the local election that we provided the facility as we typically do for the voters at the Lucero Center. So the gym was closed all day Tuesday, and then it opened up again on Wednesday morning, which a lot of individuals were happy, a lot of youngsters were happy about that. And the gym will be open to play cornhole games on Fridays from 4:30 to 8:30. One of the things that Maria has been looking at is the game of cornhole has become extremely popular. And there's an individual who has approached Maria in wanting to start some kind of a league or something to do with cornhole. And Maria has been working with that individual to see if we can build that up through the city in order to engage people in that and see if they want to come out and participate in that, since it seems to be a pretty popular sport. And then finally, she also mentions that the Halloween drive, as Miss Sherry mentioned, was the Halloween drive-through was a great success, which it was. We had a really great time out there, and we're definitely thankful to all of them for participating in that. And then I'll just end on thanking again all my staff for their hard work. They have really been troopers on providing services to the people in our community. And sometimes the people aren't very happy with them, but they are professional and they do an excellent job. And I'm very, very thankful to them for their continued hard work in providing these services to the people of the community.
Any questions, Councilor Martinez?
I do, I recently was inundated with phone calls from people that have their children involved in the cheerleading competition and that, and the football, little football players that are. And the issue is that now that it got cold, suddenly cold, some of these teams were practicing on the fields outside, and the parents were concerned, as well they should be, that it was a little bit too cold for the little ones to be out there. And so inadvertently they contacted people, they got the gym and everything, but they were charged $40 per night for whatever that is. And one of the teams actually left Espanola and had Buffalo Thunder sponsor them and went to go practice at Buffalo Thunder. I just think that's a shame. I want to get to a point where we understand the value of what the youth are to our community and how important it is for us as the adults of this community to nurture that involvement as much as possible. These are the programs that keep our kids on the straight and narrow. These are the programs that keep them functioning and really wanting to be a part of Espanola. And at the end of the day, these are the littlest, smallest ambassadors that this community has. They all have Espanola on their uniform. They're going out of our community to represent us as a whole when they go. So I'm hopeful that we can come up with some kind of policies where teams have an opportunity to address the council, get some type of sponsorship going, and scheduling that's fair. If there's 4 teams that need the gym, then we split that block for 4 teams. If there's 5 teams that need the gym, then we split that block equitably and fairly between everybody that needs it, fairly. And try and accommodate as much of these youth in our facilities as possible. Yeah. I'm just hopeful that we can work on this for the next round when they're outside, it's no issue because they can practice in the solazo and they're having fun. But when it gets colder, it's a different deal. So I'm hopeful we can figure out a way to handle that in a positive way that shows the kids that we do care about them and they don't have to be paid. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think, because I did get a couple of calls on that myself, and I think part of the issue is educating the parents that are either involved in these activities or their coaches, knowing that they can come to community services and request it without, but they have to make that initial request. So I think a lot of it just educating them and communicating with them. And then, yeah, you can do this, we can co-sponsor it, but you have to just follow the proper channels. I think if we were to somehow get a listing of who's in charge of these sports activities, and that way we can let them know, look, if you're needing our facilities, this is what you can do with more than enough time before the actual sport starts, that they can utilize our facilities.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I could, and members of the committee, I definitely understand, the frustrations and, the concerns with the facilities. I think one of the issues that we faced here at the city was, and I'm by no means speaking on behalf of the school district, so I'll make that clear, but typically these programs use a lot of the elementary schools and the different gymnasiums throughout the Espanola Public Schools. Because of COVID and the fact that they've stopped allowing usage of the facilities, because of that reason, it has really kind of put, I'm gonna say, it's kind of bottlenecked the city, I guess, for lack of a better term, because I know that this body here and the full governing body is always really supportive. And this is one thing I did tell somebody who approached me on the matter too, is that they're always really supportive of things when it comes for the kids. And any community event, they're really supportive on approving that in the process. But the problem is that sometimes, because of the amount of activities we have and the amount of kids we have, just like Little League or anything like that, the city does not have the means. I mean, I definitely agree with Councilor Martinez, we can look at scheduling, but I think the issue is that because you have so many kids at the same time doing the same program, for example, now with the cheerleaders, you have one group doing it, and then you have another group doing it, and they're going during the same time period, that it really constrains it because we only have the one facility, which then in turn also puts a damper on the other activities that the city co-sponsors, such as the basketball league, the volleyball league, the people that come in to do, daily rentals or play during the day. And so that's another thing that it kind of puts a damper on that, because the city has so many things, but only the one facility. And so that's just something to think about, as well as it will interfere with the other activities that the city does sponsor as well.
Perhaps it would be interesting to see if the convento could be utilized in those situations, because it's the same type of building. I mean, they don't have the mats over there or anything, but they may have their own set of mats. I don't know. But that's something to like funnel it to that side. And there's a bunch of kids. I mean, we saw the one group that came in here. They're a big group, and the other group is actually bigger than the group that came in. So it's a lot of kids. So they require a big space, but the convento is one, the stroke center, maybe another. It doesn't necessarily have to be the gym. We have buildings, and if we need to be thinking about building another gym, then we need to be thinking about that. Something that we can collaborate with the county on, and whatever we gotta do to make sure that we entertain our children the way they need to. Thank you.
Counselor Didi Valdez?
I just agree with what Counselor Martinez said. We can perhaps utilize the Senior Stroke Center. I'm not sure where we're at with the Geno's Gym. They had space there. We just have to think about all the resources that we have so we could try to accommodate everyone. But the scheduling would be a big help.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor Pro Tim Southside.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to pretty much echo what Jeremy stated early on. I feel our entire community services staff works their hardest. I think they do their best and always the most professional, no matter what comes before them. Of course, in any department, there's going to be some concerns. There's going to be some issues that go on, and to resolve them, of course, I think I see where there's that effort of communicating with fellow staff members, whether it's goes all the way up to the city manager or even the council, amongst even working directly with Jeremy and the directors under him, as well as our greater Espanola Valley community. So that's one thing that I do see a lot as far as resources go. I think that's been a continuous concern regarding use of the Lucero Center gym, for this or for that, and conflicting schedules and so on. But But nonetheless, I always see the staff giving it their best, giving it their all, being the most professional and trying to do everything to make it work. And I'm really appreciative of that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think it's a matter of, with having enough time, one can do the scheduling issues that need to be done with whatever facilities we do have that are available. It's just a matter of not being able to accommodate when it's such a short time frame. But I think if we can educate them and say, okay, if you make sure and come in with enough time, we can hopefully assist you with whichever area that accommodates you. If it's a small group, like Councilor Martinez said, the Covento may be a place that they can utilize during the week if it's not being used, and up to the gym if it's a larger group. And for, let's just say, a real small group to be utilizing the whole gym when a larger group can be utilizing it. With that, we'll go ahead and go back to, and I apologize for not, for skipping that. I didn't do it intentionally. The county recreational facility, sir, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. So I don't want to be too long-winded on this. I just feel that it's important to update this committee, and essentially at some point, it'll probably need to be to the full governing body. And I have given the mayor my take on all of this. But as you all may know, back in November of 2019, the county of Rio Arriba passed a bond initiative to build a recreational facility for the residents of the county. And so in the discussions on where it's going at this point, the committee that has been, it's been comprised of different entities, the city being one of them. And they've met and had some discussions on what it is that they're looking at in regards to this recreational facility. I think everybody in this room can agree that it's desperately needed in the county, in the city, for the residents to have an area where they can do recreational, or an additional area, I guess I should say, for recreational activities. The concern that I had as the Director of Community Services is that the proposed location of this recreational facility, which is going to be placed at the property of Northern New Mexico College, only leaves me to be concerned with the fact that when this facility goes up, where is that going to leave the Lucero Center? The city would not fiscally be able to maintain two facilities, the facility, the new recreational facility, as well as our facility. The other thing that I did bring up to the committee was the concern that essentially, if we did have both facilities open, we were now then going to be competing with the new center to try to still bring in patrons into the Lucero Center. Based off of the discussions that we've had with the committee and the county, is that they're looking at a facility that's going to cost, I'm going to say estimated at $20 million. The facility is not going to have any aquatics. It's not going to have, it's all going to be basically just a basketball court, workout areas, pretty much just dry stuff. So there's not going to be no aquatics, anything like that. My suggestion at the time, and I did suggest this with the CM and with the mayor, was that they put that $6 million that they received in bond money into the facility at Lucero Center. On the feasibility study that was done some time back, with the modifications that the Lucero Center would need, the expansion, a small expansion, I think it came out at the time to maybe about 16 million and change, maybe. If they were to put that money into the Lucero Center, then the Lucero Center could continue to be the focal point of where people go and do recreational activities. It would also provide the public with an aquatics facility. It would provide the public with a library. The Valdez Park is just hop and a skip away with the skate park and some other additions that are going to be coming. And so that was really just the update that I wanted to give to this group, was that that's where we're at this point. But if they continue with the proposed location at the college and it continues to move in that direction, I'm not sure where that's going to leave the city. And the concern that it brings to me is, where is that going to leave my staff? that runs the recreation department, because we won't be able to fiscally be able to sustain this facility and the facility over there.
Is it proposed that the county would maintain that facility, or that the city would be required to take care of that facility?
Well, right now, I'm not exactly sure on the logistics, but based off of what I understand is it's a collaborative effort between the city, the county, and the college.
Now, could that change as far as the location at the college now that President Bailey will be leaving and a new president will be coming into the college?
Well, right now, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure it could, being that maybe the new president may have a different outlook on it. I'm not sure what forms have been filled out or what agreements have been made between the county and the college, because President Bailey hasn't been on any of those meetings that we've had. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of agreement the county had with the college, and whether or not there's a possibility that that could have some changes due to a shift in administration.
Do you know if there was like a plan B site should Northern pull out and say, okay, we decided to do something else with this property? Or
That I'm not aware of. I know that initially there had been talks of it possibly coming to the Lucero Center, and then I'm not sure what happened in the mix of that, because when I came in, they were already moving forward with the proposed location at the college, which, I mean, everybody can agree, like I mentioned earlier, that we need this facility. It's much needed. But again, our concern, obviously, as the city is, where is that going to leave the Lucero Center? And I think that's where this discussion comes from. If the money would be diverted, in my opinion, if the money would be diverted into the Lucero Center, the city would obviously handle it with the staff that they have. But at the same time, the other entities who are participating in this, they could have a board, or we could look at scheduling, stuff like that, whatever is needed. But this way, it would continue to be at the focal point of the Lucero Center, which has provided a recreational area for the last 50 years to the people of this community.
any questions or?
What's the expected amount that the bond issue will produce?
They got it for a total of 6 million. And they're looking at a $20 million facility.
So, the history of the recreational facility comes into effect since Bella Montoya was the commissioner. Originally, they had already set aside some of that money, and then things changed to the governing body. And it never happened. And then when it came back, they went ahead and built Disneyland Chimayo at Arboleda. And as much as I love that park, it kills me that it's not here in town. Kills me because it's only serving a small percentage of people in that direct area. I mean, I don't know anybody that lives in Espanola that says, let's go to the Arboleda Park. That's a great idea. It's just too inconvenient for the general public in any other area, Velarde, Alcalde, Espanola, Abbey Q, all these areas to get to that park. And, had the county collaborated with the city back then, we had that property right behind Washington Federal. Can you imagine if that park was there? Can you imagine what we could do with $6 million to add to that at this point? So I feel like this is very, very critical and very, very important. And I just want to be involved more in what's going on with it, because my heart is attached to this. And those of you that don't know me don't know that the Lucero Center formed who I am. And it's that important to me. I'm a gym kid. I was raised in that gym. There were times when I didn't have money to play in that gym, and people that were in charge would send me with a Windex to go clean the windows or go throw the trash or do whatever it was that I had to do to earn my way in there. And that gym saved my life. So I really believe that these recreational opportunities are critical to our children, critical. And I just want to see things happen with that. You know, you can always tell what a community is doing for their youth by the amount of money and time and energy that they're actually investing in the youth. And I want to see those numbers from the city of Espanola continue to grow. Whatever it is that we're doing for our youth, I want that number to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I feel like that's the best investment that we can do in our community is for the youth.
Thank you, ma'am. Counselor Valdez. Any questions or comments on this subject?
I have a question for Mr. Maestas. When would this venture begin of either building or donating it, not donating it, but using it for Lucero Center? What is the estimated time of when they're going to begin?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Counselor Valdez, I'm sorry that I don't have the exact date, but what I can tell you is that with the discussions, it looks like it's already in the process, but I couldn't give you an exact date of when they're looking to actually open it. I'm saying maybe in the next couple of years, but I don't have a for sure date, but I can get that for you.
Thank you, Director Maestas, for that information, because like Counselor Peggy Sue Martinez, it is a passionate issue for me as well. As an educator, I want the best for the children of our city and the outlying communities, of course, all of Rio Arriba, and this recreation area should be in a location where it's easy, accessible for all. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, sir. I'm just appreciative this was on the agenda to be able to discuss this. I'm also requesting if we could just get continuous updates as there's more information that comes along. And I would think that this entire there's this entire governing body, of any way that we could be able to assist, I think that would be a great thing, because it's a great thing for the community as a whole. And as mentioned before, for our youth and of course their future. So again, just if we could continue to get information, and then if there's ways that we could be able to assist to help to move the process along, whatever we can do. I'm not speaking for everybody on the council, but I would think that everybody on the council would be on board for that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I believe so too. I think, I know when this first came out, those many years ago when the county was considering this, they kind of sold it as or at least as I remember, oh, we're looking at making a Genoveva Chavez type facility, so I think that, really got everybody excited about something like that. And then to realize that's not what they're actually, of course, being able to provide. And instead, like you say, it would just be a competition for the Lucero Center. Doesn't make sense to spend that kind of money, $20 million, when $6 million could go a heck of a long way with our facility here. And not just the facility, but the library as well, and everything else that can go with it. Expand it if we need to. So yes, sir, please keep us involved or keep us informed. Who is spearheading this as far as from the county side?
So right now they have the county manager who's been on there, Miss Lucia Sanchez, and they also have another individual, but she's not with the county. I think she's with Manuel Jenny Parks, I think, is also on there. And then myself and city manager Martinez from the city. And then I haven't seen anybody there from the college. And there's some other residents of the community that are on the group as well. But I will continue championing for the city, sir.
Thank you.
And I will keep you all informed, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions or anything up? Okay, then we will call this a meeting. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good night to all.
Good night. Have a good evening.